Hi everyone, my name is Ariana Chedji and I am an independent consultant and an area manager with Arbonne International. I am also a licensed master cosmetologist and makeup artist, and I've been in that industry for over 8 years, and that has always been my passion, is really the makeup. I have done everything from just daily makeup looks to bridal looks, things that were shot in magazines, TV commercials, to just really specific makeup looks for people and transformational makeovers for them. So the purpose of this makeup tutorial is really just to help those who aren't makeup artists and licensed master cosmetologists, who aren't as comfortable with the makeup, to get really comfortable with it and give you just some basic tools and steps so that you can really maximize your makeup world out there for your clients, because it really is a phenomenal makeup line that will expand your business. So first things after you're watching this is I want to talk about the tools that you need to really maximize your makeup market. So the best way to really hone in on that is to get the makeup kit that Arbonne has out there. You will get everything, a wide variety of colors, everything that you're going to need in order to match different people. It's not just their skin tone, it's different eyeshadows and blushes and lip products. So if you have those, then they get to try it and really you can figure out what's going to be the best match for them. Now, if you can't do the entire makeup kit all at once, then there's a couple of things that you just want to keep in mind when you are selecting some of those products. Is try and range it to where you're not getting 3 or 4 colors that are exactly the same. You want to vary it up a little bit, okay? That way you have more of a variety for people. The other thing that you really want to make sure that you have is the tools to keep everything very sanitized. If you get the makeup kit, it comes with a brush set, but that's also one of the things you're going to need. But you can't use that same brush set on every single person, right? So you need to make sure you get the mascara ones that you get 25 in a pack. There's disposable lip brushes, eyeshadow brushes, there are some makeup sponges, and they're really at a phenomenal price as well. So it's very affordable and you get really good disposable products to use on all of your clients. With that being said, something that comes in the makeup kit that I'm pretty sure you can get in the business tools is Arbonne gives us one of these makeup sheet kits that has a face. It's a textured piece of paper, and right on the front part it says your face, then it says eyes, lips, okay? Now, if you aren't able to get this off of business aids, it's really easy to make it yourself. You can just get some textured paper, get a face print out there, and then write the things on there. This is very important to have for your clients. It makes you look very professional, and that's something that you need to remember when you're doing this. Even if you aren't a big makeup artist when you know all the tricks and the tips, by having some of these tools, it still makes you seem like you are very professional, and you keep watching these and you will be professional. Before you can really go forth with the makeup, you have to know the basics behind our makeup line, okay? Some of the things that sets our makeup product apart from anything else on the market, no matter what brand you think of, is the fact that Arbonne is vegan certified, okay? We're gluten-free. Our makeup is hypoallergenic. And it also has OptiLite technology. Now, the really cool thing about OptiLite technology is that we have a patent on this, okay? So Arbonne is the only one that has OptiLite technology. So the best way I like to explain this to people so that they understand is that it's light enough to go on their skin to where they don't really feel like they're wearing any makeup, but it's also not gonna clog their pores, and they're gonna get good coverage with it. The other part with OptiLite technology is, and I use this example with a lot of women, is have you ever put your makeup on in your bathroom and it looks great, but then you go outside or in a different lighting and then you're like, oh my god, it looks different, it doesn't look as good as it did in my bathroom, right? And the reason that is that different lighting will change the hues of the makeup, okay? Even though it is that one color, the lighting will kind of do some crazy things to it. Now with Arbonne makeup, with OptiLite technology, it will self-adjust to the different lighting so that they look flawless in any lighting. So these are some of the things that you really want to make sure that you tell your clients, because if they're just trying the products, they're going to like them, right? But they need to know what sets our makeup apart from any other thing on the market and what they're currently using in their makeup bag. If you're doing a makeup event, or even a one-on-one, I always encourage my clients to bring the makeup that they are currently using, okay? That's gonna give you a good idea of the colors that they're already using, some of the products, and then you can kind of build from there and say, okay, well, let you try this version of that in the Arbonne side. Does that make sense? So that's a good way if you're not so comfortable with Everything Makeup, if they bring theirs, you can already see what they're using, and then you can recommend the Arbonne version of that. Okay, so before you can actually start recommending the makeup and trying it on people, you have to make sure that you also look professional with the makeup on. So even if you're not one that likes to wear a lot of makeup, you're very natural, you just want to make sure that you do have our makeup on, okay? So something very basic you can do is just at least have one of our face bases on. So whether that is a tinted moisturizer, a liquid foundation, a pressed powder, a loose powder, some concealer, make sure you have something on your face as a base, okay? And then just do some mascara and lip products, okay? That's the basics. Now, if you do feel a little bit more comfortable with the makeup, then put some eyeshadow on and the blush and some bronzer, okay? Maybe some eyeliner just to kind of spice it up a little bit. So that's the one thing is your face, you are your own advertisement. So you can't really recommend the makeup if you're not using it yourself. And by you using it, you're going to get very comfortable with our makeup products, and you're going to be able to throw your own little experiences with the makeup, like, oh, feel the primer, doesn't it feel great? I use it myself. Or I love the lip polish because it's not very sticky. It just feels very glossy and smooth. Examples like that, because by you being a product of the product, you're going to be able to watch your sales go up, because you can't recommend something to other people if you're not using it yourself. Okay, so step one, when you start doing the makeup on someone, you have to start with a clean slate. So have them wash their face, select the cleanser that you know is going to be the best for them, and then also have them remove their makeup. You want to give them our eye makeup remover, okay? And then you also want to give them a moisturizer as well, because these are the steps that they're going to be doing in the morning anyways before they do their makeup. So, and this is a great way for them to try some more of our products. So the makeup look that I'm going to be demonstrating for you today is something very easy and basic, very simplistic that you can do for your clients. This is going to work for all of your clients, okay? And I'm actually going to be using Executive Area Manager Jessica Stellato. She's also my sponsor, and she's going to be my lovely model today. And I'm going to basically just be showing you what a makeup consultation would look like with somebody. Okay, everybody, so here's the lovely model that I was telling you all about. So once they have a nice clean face, what you want to do is take a hair clip. You can get these at the dollar store. They won't come in your makeup kit because you want to have their hair away from their face, okay? So I just like to basically take the majority of their hair that is coming in and just kind of clip it in the back and have it where the clip is almost hidden in the back of their head. That way it's not sticking out, okay? Just like that. Now, the first step that you want to do is always do the primer. Now, some of the things that you want to do when you're letting them use the primer is you want to be talking about it at the same time. Now, I let them use the primer because I want them to actually feel the difference with our primer, okay? Now, something else you need to remember is all of our pumps are regulated, so one pump is all you need. So by having the full-size version of this, you're showing them this is what the packaging looks like, this is how big the bottle is, and this is what one pump looks like, okay? So Jessica, I'm going to put some on your finger. Not enough came out, but I know what a pump looks like, okay? So the best way to have them apply the primer, and this is also something that you want to do as well, is you don't want to have them rub it into their hands, because what's going to happen is their hands are going to absorb most of that primer and all of it's not going to get onto their face. So I have them do what is basically like a 5-point dot system. So they're going to put it one on their cheek, one on the other cheek, one on their forehead, one right here above their mouth, and one right here on their chin, okay? So that helps so if you're evenly distributing it throughout their face. And now, Jessica, if you want, you can go ahead and rub that onto your face. So something great about our primer is ours is actually triple milled. This makes it much finer, more silkier, to where it's gonna feel like they have nothing on, but it's giving them a nice base. So the point of a primer is to help if there's any fine lines or overexposed pores or there's any blemishes, to give them a nice smooth starting point, okay? Now, I've already pre-selected some of the colors for Jessica, but the best way for you to really match somebody, don't match them on their hand because they're not going to be wearing the makeup on their hand. You want to go right to their face. Also kind of find out what they're looking for. Do they normally wear a liquid foundation or loose powder? Because that's also going to kind of narrow it down for you of what direction you need to go into. However, you can also let them try different things too, because maybe they're not so happy with just using a loose powder or a liquid base. So you can always just have fun and kind of change it up. So I'm also going to do the same thing like I did with the primer, is I'm going to let Jessica put this on her face herself, okay? Jessica, I'm going to give you 1 pump of this. Do that same 5-point system where you're going to put some on your cheek, on your forehead, all around this area. Now you may be hearing this from a lot, oh, that doesn't look like a lot, but that's the other reason you want to let them feel it and experience by putting on that makeup themselves, because they can really see how far our small, amounts of our makeup goes. So that's one of the things I hear most of the time. So what you're going to do now, once that they've applied it, is I still let them rub it all throughout their face so they can see how the liquid foundation really moves with their skin and the coverage that they're going to get. And that's one of the key things I usually like to explain to people when I'm applying the liquid foundation is a little bit goes a long way, the coverage is amazing, and they don't feel like they're wearing a lot of makeup. How does that feel, Jessica?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Feels great.
Okay, so after they've applied it, if you notice there's any areas on their skin that maybe need a little bit extra coverage, this is where I'll bring in a little face sponge, okay? And I noticed on Jessica, she must have been out in the sun, so she has a little sunspots right here. It's a little bit darker, right, from wearing sunglasses. If she has a blemish or anything like that, before you apply more of the liquid foundation, our product moves really nicely. So take the sponge, okay, because it's a little bit different than the actual finger texture, and I'll just kind of move the product around on there to see if I can get a little bit more coverage on there. But if you're finding that you do need a little bit more product, you can go right to that liquid foundation and just add a little bit more to add some more coverage. But you can also go to the concealer, okay? So I'm going to pull one of the concealers. So with a new brush, okay, on the fresh side, I'm going to take 2 swipes of that. With this concealer, you want to do the same thing. A little bit goes a long way. And I'm just going to blot it right on that spot just to cover. Now, if your client has dark circles underneath their eyes or any discoloration around the eye area, same thing with blemishes, this is where concealer really comes in handy, okay? Because the point is to have everything nice and even in one tone, okay? So close your eyes for me. Jessica doesn't really have a lot of darkness on there, but there's a little bit of discoloration, so I just want to even that out. Okay, open your eyes and look up for me. And so I haven't reapplied any concealer yet because it's still moving a pretty good bit. I'm going to put some under her eyes. Now, I recommend, whether they have dark circles or not, to go ahead and put some concealer underneath their eyes. The really cool thing about this is when you're doing any eyeshadow, whether you're doing a really smoky eye or just a very basic look, this helps to keep that eyeshadow in place. And also, if any of it falls, underneath, it's not going to fall and smudge or do anything like that because you have that concealer base on the top of their eye and underneath, okay? But again, a little bit goes a long way. You don't want to use too much of it because then it gets really cakey, okay? So after I've done that, what I like to do is I will then go into my brush set. And again, make sure that you have very sanitized, clean brushes before every single client. And the way you can do that is just take a face wash. I usually will try and do like the Calm because it's very sensitive. Or, you can take maybe one of the FC5 body washes, the C-Sort, wash your brushes, after every single client that you use. Now with our brush set, something amazing that I love is on the side of every brush, it labels what that specific brush will do. So this one is the brush set, or the blush brush, sorry. Then they have eyeshadow brushes, there's a fan brush. So if you're not really familiar with, oh, I don't know what all these brushes are, if you just look on the side, it's going to label it for you so that you know. So with the blushes, again, this is why I recommend that they bring their blush set. That way you can already kind of see the direction that they like to go into. But if they don't have their makeup with them, it's as simple as just asking some questions. Just say, what color blush do you normally wear? Is it more pink? Is it more brown? Just kind of figure out where it is and then make your recommendation and your selection from there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually take Dusty Rose for Jessica, but again, you select the one that you think for them. Now, this is what's really great. You can have them apply it themselves, okay? But again, to kind of set you apart, make you seem a little bit more professional and give them a nice makeup experience, I'm going to show you a really nice, quick, easy way to put it on everybody, okay? So I call this the fish face, and what you have them do, Jessica, you're going to suck in like that. So as you can see, when she sucks in, if you can just turn to the side for me. Oh, we'll try this side. You can see the line right here, right? Where she's sucking in. That's where you want to put their blush on. So you want it to come right underneath and a nice light. You don't have to rub really hard. I'm taking light brush strokes and I'm brushing it up. Okay? I'm going to come on her other side real quick. Make that beautiful face for me. Okay, you can relax. Then what I have them do is they smile for me. So I just smile. That way you can see their cheeks right in through here. And I haven't reapplied. Okay, so I've just done one, little swipe, and then I'm moving my product along. So this is my trick. And people are like, wait a minute, I can see the blush line. It just stands out too much. The best thing to do now, I prefer to use the setting powder because it really does a nice job, but you can use one of the loose powders or you can use one of the pressed powders. Go ahead and take your setting powder and you're gonna just dust this right on top of that blush line, and it smooths out the line to where it looks more natural and blended. And what you want to talk to them about when you're doing the setting powder is this really keeps everything in place as well, so they don't have to worry about it falling or smudging. Now, what you want to do if you're using any of our loose powders is you want to show them the feature of this cap, okay? If they're already using a loose powder, I guarantee you they've experienced their makeup going all over the place, right? And to me, that's money in the air. So with this cap, you can shake it. Everything stays in the cap, and you're also getting the right amount of product that you need to use, okay? But again, if you see that someone needs more coverage, then just put that cap back in, shake away. All right, so that's a really good feature that you want to talk to people about. This is a nice basic eye look that you want to do. I usually like to start with a nice neutral soft color, so linen petal is really good, the vanilla color. I would stay away from using snow because it's too white, and that's gonna just kind of wash out their eyes. So I'm gonna do linen on Jessica, and you're gonna find 2 eyeshadow brushes in your makeup palette. One is gonna be a little bit fuller, and one is gonna be a little bit smaller. So if you held them side by side, you'd be able to tell. I like to start with the fuller brush. I'm gonna just kind of wipe that off. So anytime you're doing a light color, start with your fuller brush. Close your eyes for me. And now I'm gonna coat the entire lid with the lighter color. And here's the best part. There's no specific way to do this. Don't worry if you're doing your brush the right way. It's just start, I like to start in the inner corner of the eye and then work my way out. Okay, you can do half circles, you can do nice little brush strokes. Just make sure you're not rubbing too hard. That's the key. Now, if you wanted to, you could just stop right here with a nice simple light color, do some eyeliner and mascara, or just mascara if that's something that they're normally, used to doing. But even if that's something that they're normally used to doing, I would take it a little step further. That way they could see the difference, because sometimes they don't know unless somebody else, does it for them, or they can feel a little bit more confident if someone else does it. So I told you about that smaller brush, right? So this is something that you're going to use your darker colors for. But there's also another one. There's a sponge brush as well. So the difference between using one that looks more bristly and then one that is a sponge, if you want something to look more defined and prominent, you're going to go with the sponge brush, because whatever color you put there, it's going to stay where you put it. If you want something to be more softer or more of a smoky look, you're going to go with the brush, okay? So for a nice day look, I think doing a brush is much better because it's more soft. Smoke is like my go-to color, okay? It works for every age group. So from, your younger girls to people in their mid-30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, this is a phenomenal color to use, okay? So if you're not really sure about what colors to pull, go to smoke if you want to do a little bit of color in there. So I'm only doing about 2 to 3 little swipes on this smaller brush. And now this is how you can make sure that you get it even on each person, okay? So I'm going to take you back to math school. Do you guys remember your greater than or less than symbols? What you want to do is when you create this shape, you want your symbol to eat their nose, okay? So I start in the outer corner and I brush that color up and I come back to this outer corner and I go down, okay? So that is my greater than symbol, right? Right, yeah, okay. She's a teacher, so this is why I ask her. Okay, so again, I come up and back down, up and back down. Okay, so I know it may be a little hard for you guys to see on here, but that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm starting the outer corner, I'm coming up and then back down. Now, after you've applied it, you see I haven't touched up with more of the eyeshadow. If you want it darker, then go ahead and you can go back and add some more color in there. But you'll find that with all of the makeup colors, like the eyeshadows, when you apply it, it looks like it does on the shadow, and you don't have to use a whole lot to see the actual color. Now, if your client is wanting more of like a makeup lesson, then what I usually say is I'll do one side of your face and then you can do the other side of your face when I'm talking about like their eyes. That way they can practice. And you can use these little tips. Say, oh, we're going to make our greater than and less than symbols. Okay, so once you've done that, what you want to do is take that first brush that you used to use that lighter color. Like I use linen. Now I'm not going to reapply because there's still some shadow on here. And I'm just going to brush along the top because it softens and smooths out that distinctive line between the first color and the second color, and it really blends everything together and gives it a more finishing look. Okay? So I just used 2 eyeshadow colors, and Jessica, I'm going to let you look in like the close-up mirror and tell me what you think about that.
It's natural. It's pretty, it's good for day.
Exactly. Like this is a great day look, something very simple, but where you're still featuring a good amount of the products. Now, if they're used to wearing eyeliner, then I just go ahead and ask them what color eyeliner they usually wear, whether it's a brown, a black, you know, what direction they like to go to. Even if they're not used to wearing eyeliner, then I'll say, well, why don't we take a look at this look with eyeliner? That way they can really see in case they've never tried it before. Now, I'm going to veer off a little bit than not doing your traditional black and brown. I really love the plum color from Arbonne, the purple. It's really nice for those people who maybe they like to change it up a little bit from wearing black or brown. This is a really nice happy medium, and it gives a little spunk to it as well. So what I want you to do every time you're using these pencil eyeliners, you should have some tissues with you, or a cotton ball or a towel, paper towel you can get. And when you're with the client, I want you to take it and very lightly brush it on that paper towel. What you're doing is you're ensuring to them that if somebody used this before them, you're wiping away anything that was on their eye, okay? And then after you've wiped it a couple times, just take that tissue and just lightly twist it around so that you're getting any of that residue. And you can tell them, hey, I'm just doing this so, you know, it's nice and sanitized and a nice fresh eyeliner, because it's hard to get this color on an eyeliner brush so that they could really see how it goes. So you can, again, let them do their eyeliner, or you can do it for them. So just gonna have you close your eyes. Now, when you do this, the trick to eyeliner is you wanna get it as close to the lash line as possible. Now, I like to start in the middle of the eye and then work my way out. And you don't have to push really hard with these two. They glide right on. And then I'll work my way in. And you can ask them, you know, if they normally wear eyeliner, if it's really thick or really thin, you know, find out what it is that they're used to doing. Now, if you are not one of those people who have a very steady hand and you can't get that straight line with the eyeliner, what you can do is you can take the angle brush that Arbonne has, and you can select an eyeshadow that is very close to the color that you've just used, or you can do something a little bit darker. So I'm going to take, there it is, the Cabernet, because I just used the plum. 2 to 3 little swipes on there. Close your eyes for me. And I'm going to actually just go right over that eyeliner that I did with the shadow. So what this does is it sets the liner that I did, but it also kind of corrects if I didn't get my line just straight, and it looks very professional as well. The other really cool thing about setting it with a powder is, have you ever put eyeliner on and then by the end of the day you look like you're a raccoon? Well, this helps keep your eyeliner in place so where it's not smudging throughout the day. Okay, open your eyes for me. Very good. And you can do the same thing if you want to take a little eyeliner on the bottom and set it with some shadow. But I usually will just, if I'm doing a nice simple day look, I won't really do it on the bottom because when you put mascara on, it leaves a little bit of residue and it almost makes it look like they have some liner on the bottom. So when you're doing the mascara, I want you to make sure that you have 2 individual mascara ones because you never want to double dip when you're putting it on. We have 2 mascaras. We have the Triple Action Mascara and then we have the It's a Long Story Mascara. So with the Triple Action Mascara, our wands are great because they're very similar to the other, to that wand. However, the wand in the It's a Long Story one is completely different. So what I like to explain to them is I'll usually bring my own personal It's a Long Story mascara and I won't put any mascara on myself and I'll show them, look, this is what a difference the brush actually makes. So you can show them, look, this is it with it and this is it without it. But it's still a good product because they can really feel the difference with this formulation versus the Triple Action. Both really great products, but they have different brushes. So you'll go ahead and put it in. You really only need to do one little swoop in there. You don't have to go back and forth, because then you're just wasting your product. And you want to keep your product for as long as possible. So if most of you are afraid, oh my God, I don't want to poke somebody's eye out, this is a foolproof way to be putting on mascara on other people, unless you want to just let them feel it and go on. So Jessica, I'm going to have you lean your head back for me. Good. But I want you to look down. And then just take your time. If they need to blink, that's fine. And you want to get that brush as far down to their lash line as possible. And I usually like to rotate my brush up just a little bit, almost like a half circle, because that will give them a little curl to their lashes as well. Okay, Jessica, I'm going to let you put some more mascara on. You can feel it. So again, I try to keep it as hands-on as possible for myself, but for them as well. That way they can really experience all the products that we have.
One thing I love about this mascara is you can go over and over it and it's not going to clump. As many times as you need to.
And this is also a good opportunity for you to talk to them about, this mascara in particular, that It's a Long Story, it really will, if somebody doesn't have a lot of lashes, it really creates the effect that they do. But you can also recommend our lash enhancer. So these are just some things you want to keep in mind is look at their lashes, and if they're saying, oh, I wish I had long lashes, hey, we have a product for that, which is really exciting. And it's really good too. Okay, very nice, very finished. So what I'll do after they have we've done the mascara. We'll pretend that she did it on the bottom one. Did you do it on the bottom? Okay. Is you want to do the eyebrow gel for them. So if you're like, I don't know what eyebrow gel does, whether they have very full lashes, very thin lashes, this gives a nice finishing touch to their brows, okay, to keep them in place. But what this also will do, if somebody doesn't have very full brows and they have some gaps in there, you can essentially move some of that hair to create that effect. But if you want to fill in those gaps, then what I recommend is don't use a pencil. It's way too harsh. You want to use a powder instead. So before I do the brow gel, I just want to show you what you would do. Now, I mean, you don't really need it, Jessica, but just for everyone else's sake. And you want to pick an eyeshadow that's almost a shade lighter than their actual eyebrow. So again, you're not creating too harsh of an effect. And I will use the angle brush for this, okay? So I'm just going to go over where her eyebrow shape already is. And then those spots that maybe need a little bit more coverage, I'll add a little bit more. The eyeshadow makes it look so much more natural and or anybody will notice that they have any shadow on there because it looks like hair. Now this is Jessica's personal eyebrow gel, but if not, then you'd want to use a little mascara one to put it on. Can you see a difference?
Yeah, wow. I've never done that. It's a huge difference.
And again, you want to go ahead and use that eyebrow gel because it will keep them in place. It'll keep that shadow there, making it look like it's very natural. Okay, so you've done your primer, you've done your face, you've done, you know, your blush, your bronzer, your eyeshadow, your eyeliner, you've done the mascara, you've done the eyebrows. So one of the finishing touches is going to be the lips, okay? So again, you want to ask them questions. Do you normally wear a lip liner, a lipstick, a lip gloss, okay? That way you have some way of narrowing it down. But if they're those people like, oh, I just wear chapstick, that's okay because you want to do the lip saver for them. But you also want to introduce them to some of the other products. My go-to color for just an average, a nice day look, something simple, is brown sugar. I think it really complements the majority of people. But again, lips are really easy to change up. If they don't like the color, you can take it off and let them try another one. So when you have those individual lip brushes, you can actually just take it and put it right. I'm going to use a lip polish on her. You can slip it right inside and pull it out, and it's good to go. If you don't have the lip brushes, if you run out, then in the makeup brush set, they actually have a lip brush in there. So what you do is you dip this in a couple times and take it from that actual lip brush because this won't fit inside and you don't want to double dip. Okay. And this is also just a convenient thing for people, is just to put on a lip gloss throughout the day. Go ahead and pop for me. There you go. Nice and simple. Then from there, like I said, if they like to wear a lip liner or a lipstick, you can kind of play around with that combo. But to keep it very basic and simple, I usually will just pick, a lip gloss because it's a lot simpler, or just a lipstick for them to use, okay? So once you've completed their makeup look and they love it and you've made it, the recommendations, go ahead and take that hair clip out, okay? So they can see, okay, this is what I look like every single day with my makeup on there. This is also a great time for them, I'll hand them a mirror and say, what are your favorite things about this makeup look? Is there anything that you think that we should do different? Or do you want to try a different makeup look? Okay, so let them really absorb and take in what you've done, okay? Okay, so once you've done that whole makeup consultation with them and you showed them everything, this is where this really comes in handy, okay? So you should have left out all the colors that you were using, okay? That's what I like to do. I leave them out as I go. That way, when I know, okay, this color looks really great, they love these eyeshadow colors, I can then go back and kind of review with them, okay, this is the concealer that I did. And just to kind of show you how this works, guys, is I take a little bit of concealer and I'll put it on the actual paper. Okay, you see how it comes out? And because it's textured, they can see what it looks like. Same thing, you can take your blush and just put it right on there. And then under these little sections, the face, the eyes, lips, write down the colors and the actual products that you're using on them. And then what you can do is right then and there, you can kind of complete the sale and say, what can we get you today? You can recommend the preferred client route. You'll know what to do as a consultant as far as them purchasing. But if they, don't want to get everything that you've recommended, you send them home with this, write your information on there. That way they do know the colors and all the products that they need to use. So maybe later on they can log in and complete their purchase by getting those products.